Hello and welcome everyone to It's Probably Coding. We're going to learn how to code with AI. Let's get started. We are going to download what's called an IDE, and this is going to be CodeWith.Mu. Mu. This IDE here, super fun, great for beginners, very bubbly, not, scary like VS Code or Jupyter Notebooks. Go to CodeWith.Mu. What you're going to find is a website that looks like that. And you click on the download button, download it, open it up. On the first run, it's going to take a while. No problem. All right. So you just downloaded your first IDE. Then we're going to download a local AI. Okay, let's talk about AI really quick. When you type into ChatGPT or Gemini or something, you're using someone else's computer. Pretty much the clouded stuff that you use is taking all the data that you put into it and keeping it and using it however they want. So that's the whole data problem. If you type in your name, or God forbid, you put in some financial or personal ID data into ChatGPT or Gemini, they now have your data, and that's it. And what can they do with it? Whatever they want. They store it and they use it for training purposes and whatnot. So people don't like that. So we're going to go to a website called Ollama.com. This is Facebook's local version, and I'm going to explain what this is. So if you go to ollama.com/download, you're going to see this right here. And this website right here is allowing you to download a local AI. And what that does is whenever you type into it, it doesn't go onto the internet. It stays on your computer. So it's totally safe. So I do recommend you download this, which after you do, should look like that when you open it up. Now, if you're a parent and you're letting your kids use this, I don't recommend letting kids use even a local LLM, because an LLM, you can pretty much talk to it and tell it to respond with anything. The responses may be scary or dangerous, or it may give bad advice. You need an adult using this thing. You got to understand that AIs are not people. AIs only guess what the next best letter is in the sentence to respond. It does that very well. And it can only do things that humans have done already. So usually the clouded AI scour the internet to look for the most appropriate response and give that. But the local AI here, it'll just respond with really anything unless you give it a good prompt. So we're going to tell this AI here, you are our personal coding assistant. We are using Python. My goodness. We are beginners and keep answers short. Are you ready? I'm going to type that. Now, right here, if you click on this down thing, it's going to be like, what bot do you want to talk to? These are LLM, these are models. I'm going to say don't choose anything other than Llama 3.2. Make sure you download that. It's pretty quick for most computers, but if you download something that's more heavy, we'll say like this 30B that I use for some more complicated coding, it'll take forever for it to run. So just Llama 3.2, keep it simple, send that, and this is all stored locally. So it's pretty simple. Look, it answered really quick. I'm ready to help. What's your first question in Python? We're going to go to our IDE and we're going to learn some Python basics. Let's get started. First thing we're going to do is tell the computer to say something to us. And you have to give the computer an instruction. We're going to give it the print function. The print function here, if you type in print with two brackets or parentheses here, you're basically telling the computer, say something. But inside these parentheses, you have to tell it what to say. So I wanted to say, hello world with an exclamation mark. And these quotes right here, inside these quotes, we have what we call a string. If you put something in quotes, the type here is a string. And a string is essentially, you can think of it as like if I cut something like a word out of a magazine, I can take that cutout and put it anywhere. So I'm going to click on run, and on your first run, you might get the computer or the IDE saying, hey, save your project. Save it as whatever you want. And then after you save it, it'll, sorry for the camera there. It'll print right here, whatever you want, or run whatever you got up here. So right now we're telling the computer print and we're giving it the snippet, right? The string that is hello world, and it's printing that. But we can tell it to print really anything. Let's learn how to make a variable. We can make a variable and we'll call the variable x. And inside x, inside the variable, let's explain variables. Let's pretend a variable is like a box. And inside this box, you can put anything you want. You can put a letter, you can put a number, you can put a word. And inside this box that we're calling x, so x is our variable. X here is our variable. And what are we putting inside the box? We're going to put a string inside the box. So inside the box, we're going to put a string that is hello, hello world with an exclamation mark. I'm going to type or click run. It's not doing anything with it. So what you're doing is you're telling the computer, we have a variable here, we have a box, and it has hello world in it. And the computer's like, okay, that's cool. That's it, because it has no more lines. But if I use that print function again, what am I doing? If I use that print function again, and I say inside the brackets, I say print x, the computer is going to say, oh, I got to print something. What am I printing? X? What's X? Oh, hello world. So now if I click on run, it'll print hello world. But I want you to guess now, you can pause the video. If I put this X in a string, so into quotes, what is it going to print? If you guessed it was actually going to print the letter X, you are correct, because it's like a magazine snippet. It's not referencing the variable. It's just typing what I put inside the quotes. So let me do that a little bit better. We'll say print X with no quotes. So that'll reference here and it'll print hello world. Then I'm doing print X, which is in quotes. So it'll say hello world, which is this because it referenced the variable. And then it printed an X because of this, because it's in quotes. So now that we understand what a variable is and what the print function does, let's get a user's name and print their name. So if I go name equals Lou, which is my name, and I do print name like that, what is it going to print? It's going to print Lou because I stored Lou, the string Lou, as the variable name, and we're printing name. But I don't think your name is Lou, or the user that's using our program is going to have his name or her name as Lou. So let's ask the user for their name. So we're going to store the user's name as name, or I can even rename that. Let's call it user's name. And we're going to use a new function called the input function. Input means let's get the user's input. Now inside these brackets, we have to type a string, which is going to tell the user, hey, what's your name? And it's going to ask the user for the name. What is your name? Question mark. Now that's not going to work because I have to put that in quotes, like a magazine snippet, put it in quotes. So I'm going to click on run. It's going to say, what is your name? And look at that. The cursor's flashing. It's waiting for my name. Lou. And I press enter and nothing happens. Now, that looks kind of ugly. The user input was right after the question mark with no space. Let me stop that. I'm going to put a space after the question mark so it looks a little bit better. But then after we get the user's name, it doesn't do anything. Let's do something. User. Oh, look at that. As I typed in user, so I was typing in this. As I typed in user, the computer's like, hey, here's a drop-down menu of everything you have in your program that starts with user. There's only one. Now I can press tab and it'll finish typing the rest of my variable there, which is kind of a very useful thing to get used to in the beginning. So what is this going to do? It's going to say, what is your name? The user gets to put in their name, and then it's going to print the user's name. So let's George, enter, and it prints the user's name. But that's not very user-friendly. It's just saying George. Let's be a little bit nicer. So let's say print, in quotes, we're going to say hello with a comma and a space. And then here, I'm going to put the plus sign. So now what this is going to do is it's going to print hello with a comma and a space, like a magazine cutout. And then it's going to add, or it's going to append onto this string user's name. So it should say hello, comma, space, and then the user's name, whatever they input. Maddie or Natty. I put hello, or sorry, what is your name? Natty, I put in. Hello, Natty. So that works. So you can append a variable to the string here by using a plus sign. Can't do that with integers and numbers quite like this, but when you're working with strings, it works perfectly. So if you want, pause the video and mess around with this, get a user's input, print, maybe get another user's input here, and then print something else using both inputs. You can certainly do that. Now we're going to learn how to do something, make something called an F string. An F string is a better way to format your strings so you don't have to use plus signs. So let's say I want to make some variables. So X is going to be hello. X is going to be hello with common space. Y is nice, nice to, and then a space. And Z is meet you. Nice to meet you. And if I want to print all those, I can do print, I can do X, Y, Z. That's not going to work. I got to use plus signs, but look, it still kind of worked. Hello, nice to meet you. That's kind of ugly. Let's do X plus Y plus Z. Hello, nice to meet you. There we go. So it appends them straight up exactly. But if I don't put a space here, what happens? Nice to meet. So gotta have the space. That is really complicated. All this hard coding is really, really tough to do. What you can do is you can do something called an F string. And let's say we have a user's name here. We're going to use X as the user's name. Let's say the user's name is Lou. If I want to say, hello, nice to meet you, Lou, I can make an F string print. And how to make an F string is you type in the letter F and then you make your string. So inside this string, I want to say, hello, it's nice to meet you. And then I want to put the user's name here. So I'm going to put these squiggly brackets and then the letter X. This letter X is just calling upon my variable. So when I press run, it's now going to say, hello, it's nice to meet you. And it's great formatting. It's super, super easy to type here in F strings because you just add the variable there, like super natural, and it'll put it in exactly where you want it. So you can change X to any name, right? Any name, and it'll print it. Actually, let's get the user's input. So here we're going to do input. What is your name? Question mark. I'm going to put a space just to make that whatever. Oh, I forgot a quote there. And when the user puts in their name, it's going to say, hello, nice to meet you, George. So F strings are super important to get used to for formatting. It's very, very natural. No appending, no plus signs, no nothing. All right, so now that we know how to get a user's name, we have to now learn how to create forks in our programming. Let's say we want to ask the user a question that's not so simple like their name. Maybe we want to ask them, out of these three animals, which one's your favorite? So we're going to get the user to type in either a 1 or a 2 or a 3. So we're going to say choice equals what is your favorite animal? Cat, dog, or lamb? Question mark. And I'm going to put a little colon here just to make it, I don't know, look cool. Let me just click on run. This is input. This is an input. And at the end here, I have to put that. Oh my goodness, what's wrong with me? Oh, I'm pressing control. So I'm going to click on run. It's going to say, what is your favorite animal, cat, dog, or lamb? And it's getting the user's input here. So that's what it typed. And I'm going to type in lamb, press enter, and then nothing happens. So I'm going to say print, and then I like the animal lamb, which is choice, 2 with an exclamation mark. So what this is going to do, so this is an F string, so I'm using this here as like a more natural way to put in variables into strings. I like the animal lamb too. So run. So choice is whatever the user types. So let's say I type in lamb, I press enter. I like the animal lamb too. But if I say moose, I'm going to say I like the animal moose too. So it didn't really use these 3 options here the way that we wanted. So we're going to do something called an if statement. An if statement is if the user types cat, say I like cats too. If they typed in dog, say I like dogs too. If they type in lamb, say I like lambs too. If they type in something else, say that wasn't a choice. Like if they type in moose, that wasn't a choice. Try again. So choice equals input. So if, we're going to do our if statement. So if choice equals, and a double equal sign means like really equals. And then we have to put in cat. So if the user's choice is cat, what do we want to say? I think we want to say something like, what do we want to say? Let's say print, I like cats too, whatever. I like cats too, exclamation mark. Now, if it's dog, so we can type if again, but we're going to do elif. Elif stands for else if. So like the next if, or if they type something else. Else if choice, what did I say, equals dog, then print here. I'm going to copy this. Print it down here. I like dogs too. Okay. And then else if, so elif choice equals lamb, L-A-M-B, print, I like lambs too. I like lambs too. So let's click run. So what do you like? Cat. I like cats too. Okay, that worked. I have to stop and I have to run again. I'm going to type in dog, but I'm going to type in dog with a lowercase d and see what happens. Press enter and nothing happened. Why? Because lowercase dog is not the same as uppercase dog. So we're gonna have to do some cleaning up here for a second, but let's do this again. So moose. I'm gonna type in moose, nothing happens. So we need an else statement. So else, and I'm just put a colon there. If they type anything other than cat, dog, or lamb, so cat with a capital C, dog with a capital D, or lamb with a capital M, print that was not an option. That was not an option. Period with the thing. So I'm going to click on run here, and it's going to say, what's your favorite animal? I'm going to say dog with a capital D. I like dogs too. That worked because I typed in dog, so it like recognized the answer and printed I like dogs too. But if I type in dog with a lowercase dog, it's going to say that was not an option because lowercase dog and uppercase dog are not the same. So we're going to learn about the method here. We're going to learn about the method lower, which this looks like this, lower. So lower. The lower method, it's kind of like a function, but you can attach it to a variable. So I can essentially do a choice. So whatever the user's choice is, put a dot and then lower. And what this does is whatever the user types in, so whatever they type in gets saved as choice, but the dot lower immediately changes everything, even if it's an uppercase, to lowercase. So let's get out of here. And we're going to do if choice dot lower equals cat. And we have to lowercase it now because if they put in cat with a capital C, it's now going to be this. I'm going to do this here. I'm going to copy this. I'm going to paste it here and paste it here as well. I got to remember to lowercase lamb and lowercase dog. So let's run. Dog. I'm going to type in dog with all capitals. And what that, oh, hold on, let me do that again. I'm going to type in dog with all capitals. And what that's going to do is when I press enter, it's going to store my response to choice as dog with all capitals. But then if choice dot lower, so it's going to take my choice, which is all the capitals, and it's going to lowercase everything to look like that. So I'm going to press enter, and it's going to say I like dogs too. Why? Because, well, it lowercased everything, and it recognized it, so it went to that print. So let's try this again. Cat. I'm going to type in capital C, lowercase a, capital T, and it doesn't matter because when I'm looking for it here, it's going to lowercase everything. So I press enter. I like cats too. And I'm going to type in some randomness, and it should say that is not an option. Okay, so it's working really, really well. What if I type in dog with a space? It's going to say that is not an option. That space that I put right there messed everything up. There's another function you can do called strip. So if you type in, for example, choice dot lower, what that's going to do is it's going to lowercase everything. But if you do dot strip, strip is going to remove all the extra spaces before and after the user's response. Now, what if I want to do dot strip and dot lower? Well, you can. You just add another dot. There, it'll do both. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do dot lower dot strip. So these are, there are a lot of methods, there we go. Put that there, put that there. So I'm going to run. You like here, lamb with space, and I'm going to press enter, and it's going to remove all those spaces because of the dot strip. And it's going to say, I like lambs too. So it was able to register my response as lowercase lamb with no spaces because I lowercased it and I took away all the spaces. So there's a little bit of formatting. There's a little bit of data cleanup there for you. So now that we know how to get a user's input, print something, make variables, and do conditionals, what if they say that was not an option? That was not an option, but we want it to loop back to the top. Well, we can do something called a while loop. A while loop is essentially a way to say, here's a code block, right? And while things are true, go down and then go back up again. Go run it again and then go back up again. And it does that like indefinitely. But if you create a break at the end, I'm just going to put a B for break, then it stops. If you say break at the bottom of so if some kind of condition is met and it says break, it's going to break out of the while loop and it's going to go to whatever the next line of your program is. So we're going to create a while loop. So while true, and I'm going to highlight all this stuff here. I'm just going to press tab. So while true. So this while loop here, right there at the top says, all right, we're creating a while loop. And where's the box? This is the while loop right here. So all of that is going to loop basically forever. So it's going to say, what's your favorite animal? It's going to get your answer, whatever it is. It's going to print that is not an option. And it's going to loop again. So let's see what happens. And this is kind of scary. Oh no, what happened? While true. While true. I think that's fine. Invalid syntax. Does it have to be lowercase t? Let's click on run here. I wonder why that's broken. Welcome to our first bug. So here we go. We have the file name that is the file I'm using, and the error is telling me on line number 1, something is wrong. There's a syntax error. The syntax is wrong. Oh man, if only we had a helper. Let's go on a Stack Exchange, copy and print our code. So I'm going to copy by pressing Control and C, put it into Stack Exchange, and wait a couple days for someone to respond to me. Or I could open up Ollama. I'm going to print in my code here. And on the next line, I'm going to say, it says there is a syntax error. How do I fix my while loop? Question mark. And I'm going to send that. And the AI is going to say the issue is that the while keyword is missing. If you have a simple statement while wrapped in a loop using a for loop or recursive function. However, since you're repeating the same code, it's better to use a while loop with an exit condition. Oh, so I need some kind of an exit condition. So while true. Why? Oh, it looks like this here is a lowercase w, and that's not working. So lowercase w. I think this has to be an uppercase. Let's try to run that. Ah, there we go. So the AI pretty much showed me replace that with that. While is a lowercase and true is an uppercase, and you'll get rid of the error. Thank you so much, AI. We just used AI to help us with our code. So what is your favorite animal? I'm going to say cat with all lower cases. I like cats too. What is your favorite animal? Oh, it asked me again. Why? This code block right here, is getting looped. Now we have a problem. There's no way to break out of this. So I can keep playing this forever. Let me lift this up. Forever and ever and ever, and it's never going to stop. So we need some kind of a break at the end. So I'm going to type break somewhere randomly. This break exists where that was not an option. So if I type in dog, it'll loop. If I type in cat, it'll loop. If I type in something random, it's going to say that was not an option and it's going to break. So what you just learned is where you type break designates where the while loop jumps out. So to show you, I'm going to type in print while loop ended program closing, period. So I'm going to click on run. Let's do this. Dog, that was not an option. While loop ended, program closing. Oh, because I typed in dog wrong. So that was not an option. While loop ended, program closing. So we broke out of the while loop, and then it went to the next line of the program. So the while loop's done. It's in the past, and then it went to the next line. So how do we make it break if the user types in something right? So let's get rid of this break here. And we're going to put break here. Let me copy this. We'll put it here. And we'll put it here. So if the user types cat, print I like cats too, and break out of it. If they type dog, break out of it. If they type lamb, break out of it. If they type something else, say that was not an option, but there's no break here. Like there's no break here under the line under this else. So if we type in something random, the while loop should persist. So if I type in cat, I like cats too, while loop ended. So we like that answer, program's done. If I type in something different, it'll say that was not an option and it's going to loop back up. So if I type in randomness, more randomness, it's going to keep looping forever until I type something that works. While loop ended, program closing. That's how while loops work. So play around with this. I think this is great for a first video. Nice half-an-hour lesson. You guys learned a ton. I would say if you were to create your own project right now, you probably could. You can create something where you say, hello user, what's your name? You can get the user's name and you can say hello and then user's name in an F string. Like you can ask them some questions. You can say, hey, do you like red, blue, or green as a color? And you can get the user's response. You can tell them in the string, you can say type 1 for red or 2 for blue or 3 for green if you want to keep the responses simple. Or you can use these methods here to clean up your data a little bit and get the user to actually type in something. And then at the end, you can say, I like the color red too. Or, hey, George, I like the color red too. So you can really personalize your response. I hope you guys had fun with this. AI is absolutely fantastic to use for this case, and this is exactly what we're going to be using the AI for in our lessons. So if you followed along today and everything was working and you were able to get to the end of this video with no hiccups, you are going to be an amazing programmer. You're going to learn logic, critical thinking, problem solving, and you're going to have fun with it too. Let's continue to make projects together. I'll see you guys soon. Oh, the last thing. Paste your code into the comments. We want to see what you made. The community hopefully will come together and not only offer tips, helpful advice, but also say, great job, and give you some encouragement to keep on going. That's what everyone needs as motivation to keep going. So let's do that for each other. I'll see you guys in the next video.